What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. So in the previous video you guys know that we just picked up a GTR, my dream car. So today we just want to do like a first impression video of the GTR, and that is what we are inside of right now, as you can see. And first impressions of the interior. I think it looks freaking badass. It looks real sporty, everything is real nice and tight, and all this red stitching everywhere gives it a real sporty look. And yeah, it feels like a sport car. It is a sport car, and I think the interior looks freaking awesome. And with this start button being here rather than here where every other car is, I think that's pretty cool. Changes, you know, give it a little difference between other sports cars out there. Gauge here, it's a pretty good spot. It's tilted towards the driver's side, so you could get a pretty good view of it as you're driving. And this thing has lots of like information on it as far as like temperature, pressure. It even has like a timer for you if you want to do like quarter miles, or if you want to do some pulls and time it. You could do it all from your steering wheel, which is pretty crazy. And you got these launch control right here. It makes it like look like a freaking rocket. You just like switch these up and then just launch it like a rocket. But yeah, pretty awesome. These seats are pretty comfortable for Recaros. I heard in some of the previous GTRs they had fake Recaros, so it was good to find out the 2014 had real Recaros. They look really sharp. I love the design of it, and of course this bucket seats, and it hugs really well. It's not too tight, not too loose. And the back here, we've got two back seats that are pretty, it's just not functional, just because, as you can see, I'm 5'7", and I'm at a comfortable driving position. There's no leg room back there for anybody. So that's they're just pretty much seats for putting some small groceries on. But yeah, that is my first impression for the interior. Of course, we are going to change a few things. We'll let you guys know about that later, but we do have interior mods coming. And let's take this thing for a drive. Alright, so first impressions. So first of all, this is my first coupe I have ever owned. First two-door car. Every other car I've had, four-door. Always loved the four doors, I don't know why. But going into the two-door, I think it gives it a much more aggressive, sporty look versus like a four-door. It's more of like a, looks like a family car, even though you can make it sporty looking. But yeah, I really love the two-door. The only thing the only downside of it is it's really hard to get into the back. Of course, nobody's gonna sit back here, but let's say like if I had my four-door, I could just open the back doors, throw all my groceries in or whatever I need. Sometimes, or probably a lot of times, I never even use the trunk, just because it's easier to just throw it in the back seat. But with this, definitely I've been using the trunk for everything rather than having to pull these chairs forward and then reclining it and everything. So that's one major difference between this and all my previous cars. Second thing is it's gonna have to be the performance. This is the fastest car I've ever owned. I've had Evos, I've had STIs, all the Hondas. I think my fastest car was probably the STI. And yes, I missed the manual transmission. I missed all that shifting you get to do. But the horsepower in this car makes up for all of that. When you do a pull in this car, it puts you back in your seat and it keeps you there. Whereas my Evo and my STI, you know, you get that pull, but then, you know, like, it just goes back to normal, you know. But this, it's pretty freaking quick. The horsepower, 545 horsepower, fastest car I've ever owned, and for factory horsepower, it's pretty freaking good. Of course, we're going to be doing some performance mods to it, but for now, I'm going to enjoy this stock 545 horsepower. And we'll do some pulls here for you guys to see, if you can see. Definitely feels the difference between 545 horsepower and 300 horsepower. That felt good. The adrenaline rush is real. Oh yeah. Huge difference in power between my STI and my Evo. The only thing about this GTR, I don't know if it's just this one that I bought or just all GTRs in general, the stock suspension is really stiff, so you're gonna feel every single bump and dips in the road. But I mean, it's a sports car, GTR, and it's like really low for factory height, so I'm not complaining about the ride quality. Just enjoy the horsepower. Alright guys, so now for the first impression on the exterior of the GTR. Oh my god, you actually
I forgot about that.
Alright, apparently I have a donkey as a car. Anyway, first impression of the exterior. Pretty much, I think the exterior speaks for itself. It's just a perfect 10 out of 10 for me, especially because I've been in love with this car for the past 10 years. I think it's flawless on the outside, from the design front to back. Everything looks extremely sharp, and I've never been able to say that about any of my cars. There were always something I liked, really liked, and didn't like about a car. But for this car, I think it's a perfect 10 out of 10, and as you can see, it does speak for itself. So enough said about the exterior, and I think that wraps it up for the first impression of the GTR. Peace.